Hey everyone, this is Ryan. Let's check out the pre-chorus and learn some cool jazz chords with Billie Jean. Check this out. And mother always told me, be careful who you love and be careful what you do, because the lie becomes the truth. Hey! A lot of great benefits to this. We are looking at some really cool jazz chords that you can substitute for an F sharp minor chord. And we're also going to look at a great substitute for playing a dominant bar chord as well. So let's dive right into it. To start, we have our good old D chord, which there's nothing different about that. And then the next chord that we're going to learn how to play is this F sharp minor. So there's two different ways to play it. You don't have to play both of these. You can just pick one and roll with it. Here's the first one. It is an F sharp minor bar chord, but we are taking out these two fingers right here, and we're going to leave the A string open. And to mute the low E, you can wrap your thumb and mute it. For my smaller handed people, just be cognizant of where your right hand is strumming. Just try to strum maybe like the bottom 3 or 4 strings or so. But we have the low E string muted, then the A string open, then 4th fret on the D, and then that first finger is going to bar across the 2 strings here. When I play this chord, my hand is grabbing the neck. I'm not leaving any space right here, but there's no space for me, and that's how I'm able to grab this chord and have it ring out. If the ring finger's not making it happen, you can also use your pinky too, but I find that the pinky finger is just weaker for me, so I like using my ring a lot better. Now, what's really cool is that if you take this finger that's on the D string here and you slightly nudge it so it touches the A string and you get these 2 strings muted, now you have a movable minor shape. So this was F sharp minor, but if the top 2 strings are muted, then you move it up a half step, now you have G minor, and then if you move it up another half step, now you have A flat minor. So you can play a lot of really difficult minor chords with one shape if you can mute the top 2 strings or just be, again, cognizant of your right hand. So that's the first one. Now, the next F sharp minor chord we're going to learn is not necessarily a movable shape, but it's a really cool sounding one that you can use in the key of E as well. And it's this one. So that's ring finger, 4th fret on the A string, pinky finger, 4th fret on the D, and then first finger, 2nd fret on the G. And then you're on the tips of your fingers, so that way you can let the high E open, the B and the high E open. And your ring finger is gonna very slightly nudge, so that way it can touch the low E string, so that way that's not ringing out. This shape is not necessarily movable because of the B and the high E string, but if you were to flatten a little bit and then mute all the other strings, then this could also be a really great substitute for a minor chord, because you've got the 5th, the root, and the 3rd right here in this chord. But it sounds really cool with these strings open. So those are the 2 F sharp minor chords. Then afterwards, we're going to go back to our D chord, just good old D. And then the last chord that we're going to go over is the C sharp dominant 7, which looks like this. It's essentially like your C chord, but you moved it down a fret, and then you put your pinky down on the 4th fret of the G string. Now, when you play this chord, the muting is really important. So take your ring finger and, again, very slightly nudge, so that way you're touching the low E. And then my first finger is the one that's very slightly touching the high E string. It's not barring it, it's just slightly touching it. So let's go through the new chords, the F sharp minor chords and the C sharp dominant, and let's just work on getting the strings to mute and getting the strings to ring out. So we're going to start with the first F sharp minor, which is this one, and let's just go one string at a time. Just like that. This is a bar chord, but we're not barring across all the strings. We're just going across the bottom 3. So it makes it easier. the way that I'm getting this bar chord to ring out is I'm putting all the weight on this joint right there. You also see too that my hands are not, like, I'm not very formal with the way that my fingers are placed. They're not like perpendicular like that. They're very like slanted because of the way that I'm grabbing the neck right here. But if your thumb placement is more classical, like maybe under the first finger or under the second finger, you might have an easier time with the bar then as well. Don't forget that when you do bar chords, you want to try to be as relaxed as possible. Remove any shoulder tension, you know, be as relaxed as possible. Now let's do the next F sharp minor chord. So that's F sharp minor 11. And again, we're going to mute the low E string and have all the other strings ring out. So here we go. This chord works well because we are in the key of A in this song. And we're in the key of A in this song. And this is the 6th chord. In the key of E, F sharp minor is the 2 chord. So this also works. And I'll use this song in particular whenever I'm playing Don't Stop Believing. And now let's go back to the D. And then we're going to go to the C sharp dominant 7. So again, that's like a C chord. And then you put the pinky down just like that. So let's practice one string at a time. See, I didn't mute that there. So I got to mute that string with the first finger. So because this chord's not necessarily, it's because I'm not playing the low E string and I'm muting it with the ring finger, my thumb placement can change for this one. So I don't have to grab it. One more time. Now, as far as strum pattern for this part goes, I like to just do a strum like this, and then I like to tap the body of my guitar like that. But you don't have to do that. You can just do, honestly, you can do whatever strum pattern you want. This part is just down dynamically in the song, so I like to just do like that. And then here, just do 4 down strums on the C sharp dominant 7 there. So then that way you can kind of build it up to the chorus. But what we're going to do is practice going from D to F sharp minor. When you do this, you can go from this D to whatever F sharp minor you want. I don't actually play these two when I actually do this song. I just wanted to provide 2 options for you. So you can pick one and stick with it. But we're going to practice switching between both of them. And then we're going to practice switching from D to C sharp dominant 7. So let's do this first. And just kind of take it at your own pace, but real slow. And then to F sharp minor. And again, you can go faster, you can go slower. We're just working on changing here. What I really like about the F sharp minor 11 is that when you go from D to F sharp minor 11, you can keep that finger, the pointer finger, exactly where it's at. And also this chord sounds really cool to me. So I can, if I were to guess, I'd probably guess that a lot of people will go for the F sharp minor 11 for this part, which is a really nice chord. So add some pizzazz. All right, let's do one more from D to F sharp minor. All right, now let's go from D to C sharp dominant 7. So we are going from here to that C with the pinky down. And I think the hardest part of this chord is just the muting of it. But once you get the muting down, it makes playing these dominant chords just so amazing, because you don't have to play like this full on bar chord. You can just do that, and it's a closed voicing, and it works really well whenever you have like this to that to, you know, maybe that in some jazz songs or something like that. But let's practice. So go from D to the C sharp dominant 7, again at your own pace. I should say that just for the sake of time, we are at the end of the pre-chorus here. So these chord changes happen at the end, right before the chorus starts. Earlier in the pre-chorus, it's really just D and F sharp minor. So what you learn here will also be relevant for the start of the pre-chorus. And if all your strings aren't ringing out, that's okay, because maybe these chords are new. And think about the first time that you learned how to play a D chord. Maybe not all the strings rung out then either. And maybe they still don't, and that's something that we can work on across time. Just like this. All right, one more pass. And again, on this C sharp 7, I like to do and then go into the chorus. So this was the tutorial for the pre-chorus of Billie Jean. See y'all in the practice video.